It's actually a yellow diamond. And the light emitting diodes are lasing diodes, and they're bright, and that's what causes those light spikes out to the side, right? Except there's only four lights in there, and four spots where there's lights. And so what you're seeing is also beta emissions from diamond. Cool McDoodle. Alright, now once upon a time, I had stuff on my ceiling from these, but this is too faint to see. Let's see. A little bit, there we go. Alright, and the patterns are because they're charged particles and they're actually kind of orderly in a way. They're random, but they stay a certain distance from each other and line up in rows and columns because they're trying to stay away from each other. And they're moving at light speed, which is far out, huh? Yeah. These are little bits of stuff, electrons, moving at light speed, and the acceleration is like immediate. I mean, it goes from 0 to light speed in one easy lesson. Up to there. And if there were something different, what we'd see is because there's light obviously from my LEDs, but the electrons are coming from the carbon. Okay, and those are traveling at light speed. Otherwise, they'd be running into each other. The little wootsies from the light and the little wootsies of electrons. And they don't do that. There's no like cloud of slow electrons. There's a cloud, see it? But they're not slow, and they're not like running into each other so much as air molecules. And you're seeing air molecules responding to them through the photoelectric effect that Albert Einstein talked about. Light is magnetic energy. It's not electrical energy, it's magnetic energy. It affects the electrons in the stuff it hits. They give off another photon. Okay, so a lot of what we call light speed has to do with stuff we say it's traveling through in vacuum at 300 million meters per second. Obviously, this is atmosphere, but what I've found is that the vacuum between atoms is exactly the same as the vacuum between stars. And what we get is quantum foam that is created. If I put another carbon crystal up there, we'll get some quantum foam between them. And so what I have is two yellow diamonds sitting next to each other. And maybe we'll get some quantum foam. I don't know. I don't know if we will or not, because I haven't done this before. This is completely extemporaneous. Whoops. And it's too small for those two. We have to use smaller stones. Let's see what else I've got in there. There's a purple one. There's a nice purple one. And here's a nice and a yellowish one. That's got a coating on one side. We could put it that way. And we'll put them close together. And we'll look right in there in between them. And every once in a while the blue lights come on and you start getting some quantum foam because that's got enough energy in it. And there's some. It sort of sticks out from the side of the stone, and it's looking red in that one. But it's emissions from one and the other at the same time, and they're running into each other, and that creates quantum foam, which actually creates new particles for our universe called hydrogen atoms. That's where our universe comes from, quantum foam. And it happens all around us, all the time. Albert Einstein said there's no simultaneity, because what's happening over there and what's happening over here are a finite distance apart. Okay? And that finite distance has to be crossed, so it can't be at the same time. The information from over there is not the same as the information over here. They're both the equally accurate for that point of view, for that point of reference, for that observer, for that frame of motion. And so we're left with particles forming one at a time in an infinite universe. And that creation creates time. Each new thing creates a little bit more space, because space isn't a thing, it's no things. It's just the distance between two things, like this, right? And we're looking at the space between them. Okay, and the space between them is created by the thing. Now there's no space. See what I mean? Well, hydrogen atoms last forever. And that's what creates space and time.